Some breaking news today because we are following this story closely, hearing about a heavy police presence at an immigration and customs enforcement facility. This is in Dallas. It's off Interstate 35 near Mockingbird.
Now, we sent Natalie Haddad out as soon as we heard reports. We've reached out to Dallas police, and we do have our senior crime and justice reporter, Rebecca Lopez, reaching out to her contacts as well. She's actually on her way into the studio, but she is on the line right now. Okay, Rebecca, we know you have some great contacts out there. What are you hearing?
So I am hearing that DPD right now is looking for sniper or snipers that may have been on top of rooftops near buildings around the ICE facility. There have been 3 people wounded. According to sources, at least 3 people have been transported to the hospital. I was told by one of my sources that perhaps EMS couldn't go in immediately, and officers were transporting 1 or 2 of the wounded in their squad cars. And that's what we know at this point. They are, I don't know who the wounded are. They have not been able to confirm that, but there was a bus of detainees nearby. We don't know if.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Duke and Dutch Show. We're bringing you breaking news from this morning happening in Dallas, Texas, where an ICE facility was shot up by a sniper. This is from footage this morning, obviously. You can tell by the skyline and all that. We have a little more information on it now. We know most of the people are actually everybody who was actually targeted by this attack were illegal immigrants detained by ICE to be, processed for removal of the country. And we know a little bit more about the shooter. But before we get into that, I would just like to remind everybody, in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the ABC studio getting shot up by a radical leftist after they canceled Jimmy Kimmel, we seem to have another case here of left-wing violence that is just kind of taking over and running rampant into our country. Oh, this is 29.
No matter what side is bad, but yeah, the trend is just
we disavow political violence on any side, but it really seems like it's coming from one side a lot more than the other. This is Joshua Jan. He's a 29-year-old from the area, a drug-addicted gamer, leftist. I don't know how true the drug-addicted gamer part is, but it is being said that this is the individual who shot up the ICE facility. And although this was originally trying to be spun by the mainstream media, and we're going to get into that in a second about, white man bad or we don't know exactly what his political affiliations is, we kind of actually do, because apparently written on the bullet casings was the message anti-ICE. And this is something that has been echoed throughout the Luigi Mangione case when he took out the CEO. This also happened with Charlie Kirk's assassin, who wanted to engrave things on the bullets as he fired them. So this seems to, and obviously I don't think a Republican or a conservative would go and shoot up ICE agents. Not that it's impossible, but very, very unlikely. So it doesn't seem like that, but that doesn't mean the narrative won't be spun. From FBI Director Kash Patel, this morning, just before 7 a.m. local time, an individual fired multiple rounds at a Dallas, Texas ICE facility, killing 1, wounding several others before taking his own life. FBI, DHS, ATF are on the ground with Dallas PD and state authorities. While the investigation is ongoing, an initial review of the evidence shows an ideological motive behind this attack. One of the unspent shell casings recovered, was engraved with the phrase anti-ICE. More updates will be forthcoming. These despicable, politically motivated attacks against law enforcement are not a one-off. We are only miles from Prairie Land, Texas, where just 2 months ago an individual ambushed a separate ICE facility targeting their offices. It has to end, and the FBI and our partners will lead these investigative efforts to see that those who target our law enforcement are pursued and brought to the full extent of justice. Thankfully, no law enforcement personnel were injured. Please pray for the injured and deceased, which...
This is just happening well too often. It's sad that, people are trying to do their jobs, and their jobs are to help the U.S. and their citizens. And one of their citizens decides to attack them while doing their duties. It's just crazy what type of thinking process there is these days in America. It's sad. It's truly sad. I feel really bad for a lot of these people that go to work and they truly don't know if they're safe at this point.
I
Because
was, I
there's so
mean,
many radical people out there.
they've said that ICE has seen like almost 1,000% increase in violence towards them,
Yeah.
and a lot of that. And we're probably gonna do a separate segment. We're not gonna get into all of this. We're trying to give just details on exactly what happened, but a lot of this can really be traced back to actually a lot of our politicians who just they refer to ICE as the Gestapo. It's like
when you demonize a certain organization, certain people, the masses, the citizens, they believe you, and then they do heinous activities like this.
there's always
They
going to
react this way.
always be a sect of that. But here's the bullet casing apparently found. You can see anti-ISIS written on it. But that's not going to stop the mainstream liberal media, especially MSDNC, from trying to cope about this tragedy in any sort of way they can to try to prove that, let's see. Well, I don't, Colin Rugg did post this clip for us, but we can
Trying
just
to pull a
watch it.
Jimmy Kimmel.
We can watch it ourselves. Well, Jimmy Kimmel, I guess, yeah.
Inspired? Are you worried about
seems like to me.
copycats?
Yes. I don't know if the rooftop trend is going to be a thing. I mean, it could just be coincidental that the best vantage point just happened to be elevated positions in this case.
Yeah. See, you can already tell you're dealing with a highly intelligent individual from that statement. I don't know if snipers will always be on rooftops, but it seems like the vantage point is better. What?
No, duh.
Why would you say
No
that?
fucking duh.
Oh my god.
And I mean, anybody, yeah.
What? What are you talking about, man? How do you lead with that?
But
Yeah, that's a silly
people
statement.
emulating this kind of attack is certainly a concern. The irony with the writing, the first time we really saw that was Brenton Tarrant in the Christchurch shooting in a mosque.
This happened in a mosque in New Zealand about 10, 15 years ago. And although tragic, it has nothing to do with the political scope of our country.
What's going on right now with any of
Mosque
this stuff? Yeah.
in New Zealand.
No, he said it for me. I didn't know if he was going to say that because you had to explain the rooftop thing. Sorry. I had to clear that up because I wasn't sure how capable he was.
And he was a fierce, white supremacist and neo-Nazi, and wrote all over his
From New Zealand.
weapon and his rounds.
And although hey, that's tragic, and that was a horrible incident, and you know what? Let that person go on and on for a lot longer than he should have been able to. He was able to go back to his car and reload multiple times while he live streamed this event. Why?
This was in New Zealand.
Because nobody in New Zealand has guns. And it seems like this criminal didn't follow the law. Which is unheard of to me. Criminals always follow the laws.
Very hateful information. So to see this coming from, potentially the other side of the political spectrum.
Not potentially the other side. It is the other side. Charlie Kirk was just, it's just been buried. We've just seen this play out. We just saw somebody shot up an ABC news station because Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air. His life wasn't threatened. He got a paid vacation for a week.
Is a little strange because
yeah, it's
it is not something, if you are trying to.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt this too much. And I'm going to shut up after this. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But-
we're like a minute in. Come on,
I
man.
know.
let it play.
I'm going to shut up. But I'm so sick of hearing about these people. Well, we don't know why this is happening. Yes, we do. It's because the left-wing rhetoric has been pushed in this country for over a decade, has
Let 'em sound
demonized
stupid, yeah.
everybody who is not politically aligned with them. It just has. If you don't agree with me 100%, the diversity of thinking, there's been comparisons on this between the right and the left. The left is very closely associated with, how they think. The right is a lot more open-minded, which is crazy because 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I never would have thought of saying that. I would have thought the complete opposite. And you know what? Maybe it's not my own ignorance. Maybe it was like that 15 years ago, or maybe I was a stupid college
Wasn't
kid.
as obvious, or
Both
maybe
things could
because
be
of
true.
technology, who knows?
But now to say we have no idea why this is happening, it's like, come on, man.
No, we do.
Get a
yeah.
grip.
But let's
carry
let
out
it
some
play.
kind of-
Let them talk stupid and let them just make a.
I'm
whole
going to
for
let the
themselves
rest of
at
the
this
clip
point.
finish out
Yeah.
before I start yelling again.
Message countering, more extreme right-wing stuff. I don't know why you would, use a tactic that a famous white supremacist who has been revered and copycatted over the years by
because there was one right
there you go. You could.
other white supremacists. Why would do that? But it does appear that
they love throwing that
people
word
are
around
moving in that direction because they want people to know what they're doing and why they're doing it. Again,
especially when this has
terrorism
nothing to do
is
with
theater.
white
They want people to understand their message and why they're doing this and why, in some cases it's a narrow act of violence and it's not supposed to be a mass murder. Although it looks like it's moving a little more in that direction.
MSNBC, have me on,
At this
please.
point, I mean, let's be.
Oh no,
pretty clear
don't actually.
That message right there was trying to make it sound like, oh yeah, it's absolutely related to white supremacists. Like, how many times did he say white supremacists in that clip? This incident has nothing to do with white supremacy.
He was referring to the mosh.
Absolutely hasn't. I understand he was referring to that, but the fact that he was trying to connect dots between that and this, there is no dots to connect between that and that. Besides it being a political, two different political.
The engraving
shootings
on the bullet casings, but just because one person did this at one point, we've seen Luigi Mangione did this. We have just seen the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk just did this, and now we're also seeing this person doing this.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't think the person who shot up the ABC station, I don't think he did it, but it seems like it's a left-wing trend now. All these people are left-leaning, and everybody.
I mean, they're definitely not shy with advertising what their message is.
No,
their ammunition.
They seem to want people to know.
The fact that they hinted at a potential motivation here with the etchings on the round saying, quote, anti-ICE in nature. And of course, the motivation is being investigated, and this is very early in the investigation. But the fact that there is this call for the division to stop, for the rhetoric to be tempered down, for the rhetoric to be dialed down, multiple officials mentioned that, including the official from the ICE office in Dallas saying, quote, the rhetoric has to stop.
The rhetoric is only coming from, the violence is only coming from one side. It's only coming from one side.
There's only call of violence from one side. The other side is literally not attacking or doing anything aggressive.
What do we see? And, listen, and this is going to be it's a bastardization. I'm going to get through it really quick. St. Floyd, as the left calls him, cities burned, billions of dollars in property damage, dozens of deaths because George Floyd died. Charlie Kirk, everyone came together in prayer.
Yep.
There seems to be a difference. I can't figure out exactly what it is, but there seems to be a difference.
So Senator Ted Cruz mentioned
literally 0 cities went on fire.
No, people gathered together in vigil and prayer. They held memorials. Like, there was no violence that happened because Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which is crazy in a country of 330 million people. A lot of which have been radicalized, but it seems like it doesn't seem like anybody on the right has been all that radicalized if there's not going to, and I'm not calling for violence. I don't want there to be violence from any side, but it definitely seems like this is a lot more affiliated with one side than the other.
We need to stop acting like it's an overall situation. No, it's not. It's coming from one side and it needs to stop. We need to call out that one side and say, please, enough is enough. Stop this crazy reactions when these incidents. It's uncalled for. It's not necessary.
When MSDNC and CNN, ABC, when you demonize the president for 10 years and you demonize half the country for 10 years and you convince people who from a very young age are like, oh, we're living in a Gestapo, it's the SS, they're coming for us. What do you think is going to happen to people who can't figure out that this is just your rhetoric to try to score political points?
I say this regularly all the time. These people really need a history lesson. Stop throwing around these words like they mean nothing.
Yeah.
This is why you need to stop throwing around these freaking words.
I think, unfortunately, now the words do mean nothing, but I think it's just worthless now. You've used the words too much.
Saying that politically motivated violence is wrong and that, quote, demonizing ICE must stop. So we heard that over and over and over and over again. And it stood out to me, obviously, because we have seen just the rhetoric escalate. We've also seen.
And who's been escalating MSDNC? It's been you. It's been the news is the worst perpetrators of this. These independent journalists on Twitter. No. It's you. You are the people with the airwaves. You are the people who speak to the masses. You are the people who have demonized half this country. And I would like to see some accountability taken for that.
The very dramatic videos of ICE nabbing individuals and tossing them into unmarked vehicles. A lot of these ICE agents have been masked, and so it has been very divisive.
Why are they masked exactly? Do you think it's because if their identities weren't known, that people might shoot them? Is that why? Because you demonized...
attempt to hurt them or their families?
You want to associate the ICE agents who are enforcing border laws, which every country in the world has border laws, by the way, every country. But you want to compare it to the SS or the Gestapo. But yet somehow, it's not your fault. This is just the radicalization of people and nobody knows.
I mean, one of your favorite shows, The View, talk about demonization. They've demonized so much. Regularly, almost every single show.
They have.
And there's been a lot of fear in the different communities where we've been reporting. And so the call for the decrease in that division and the rhetoric is what really stood out.
Yeah, we're definitely hearing increased calls for bringing the temperature down. Just want to let us know that...
And this is such stupid bullshit. 2 weeks ago, we heard, oh, we got to bring the temperature down. We got to bring the... When Charlie Kirk got killed, we heard the same thing. And you had Kamala Harris on your airwaves yesterday. Trump is a tyrant. You're not going to bring the rhetoric down. You're not going to do it.
You're not even making an attempt.
These politicians should be held accountable for their speech the same way anybody else would be held accountable for theirs. I don't know why they have carte blanche to say whatever they want. I really don't. You cannot accuse other people of terrorism unless you have actual proof of it. Oh.
You're inciting radicalists.
Oh. We're going to read on here. Mom of Joshua John, Dallas ICE facility shooter, posted anti-gun rants on social media aimed at Texas GOP leaders. Now, I don't know if this is, it's not super pertinent, I don't think, but maybe it speaks a little bit into the history of their family. Although I would be a hypocrite if I didn't point out that we did talk about Tyler Robinson, a week ago. His family also were very Republican, and it seems like he went the complete other way. So I'm not even going to cover this story, actually. It's just, she's very against guns. And so there's a little bit of an irony there that your kid would go use a gun to, well, it's not the ultimate irony. The ultimate irony was you went there to, I believe at least, it seems like, you went there to take out ICE agents, and somehow you ended up injuring and killing the people you were trying to help. Yep. So,
talk about irony. Yeah,
it's quite ironic.
Not funny, it's not good, and it's sad. No matter who gets unalived, but it shows the level of intelligence.
This comes from President Trump. I have been briefed on the deadly shooting at the ICE field office in Dallas, Texas. It has now been revealed the deranged shooter wrote anti-ICE on his shell casings. This is despicable. The brave men and women of ICE are just trying to do their jobs and remove the worst of the worst criminals out of our country. But they are facing an unprecedented increase in threats, violence, and attacks by deranged radical leftists. This violence is the result of the radical left Democrats constantly demonizing law enforcement, which, listen, I'm going to pause right there. Gavin Newsom was just on last night saying you got to fight back against ICE.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think it had anything to do with it? Probably not. But
when you say statements like that, you open the door.
It all adds a layer onto the rhetoric of the normalization of violence. And you would think these elected politicians, but I don't think they can get sound bites any other way.
Last I checked, it's a crime to incite a riot, to incite violent acts.
They do it.
But yet they are doing it regularly.
They do it in such a way they have plausible deniability, but
yeah.
But you can't tell me that most prominent Democrats are not for violence, or they don't do coded language to say it. Where was I? Calling for ICE to be demolished and comparing ICE officers to the Nazis. The continuing violence from radical left terrorists in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination must be stopped. ICE officers and other brave members of law enforcement are under grave threat. We have already declared Antifa a terrorist organization, and I will be signing an executive order this week to dismantle these domestic terrorism networks. I am calling on all Democrats to stop this rhetoric against ICE and America's law enforcement right now. The Trump administration is fully committed to backing law enforcement, strong borders, securing our homeland, deporting violent and illegal criminals, and fully rooting out the left-wing domestic terrorism that is terrorizing our country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, and I know what the response is going to be. Well, Trump's just blaming one side. He's not turning down the rhetoric.
Because one side is doing it.
It just seems like it's an awful lot of violence coming from one side. The side who's apparently the tolerant side, the side who apparently hates guns, the side who, they have no problem, murdering children. That's not, they don't have a problem with that. But I know exactly.
I'm just tired of seeing these types of stories.
I know exactly how it's going to be spun.
What else needs to happen at this point? Just stop. Just literally stop.
I didn't want to say it, with the Charlie Kirk thing, but it's like, I really was thinking, I was like, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I just do.
It's sad, but that's how it seems.
But listen, more will be coming out about this, the shooter. We'll probably be covering it, or unless they, it could be the Thomas Matthew Crooks thing, so they sweep it under the rug. It goes away. We never know anything.
Under the rug. Who knows?
But yeah,
we'll see.
My message for anybody would just be to knock it off.
Stop. Just relax.
Especially since
we can talk without hurting each other.
No.
Just like the great Charlie Kirk used to always say, we can have an open debate. We can talk. It is an option.
Maybe. I don't know. It might be the time for that.
It really is. It's up to you to take it. But it really is.
The time for that might have passed. I don't know. I think there are some people that may be so far gone. It's like, I just don't. I don't know. I hope not, but we're going to see.
Bring back insane asylums.
Yeah, we might have to do that too.
That's my message.
We still got most of the old buildings too. You have to refurbish them a little bit. I think most of them are still there. Anyway, that's going to be it for us for this. We'll cover this in our next segment. I'm sure there will be more information about it. Everybody, please stay safe out there. Hold your loved ones tight. Everything can change in an instant. You never know. And we will catch you in the next one.
See you later.